Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. So in this video we'll discuss one of the very interesting topic in AWS, which is known as trust relationship. Okay, so in this video we'll understand what is trust relationship in AWS IAM role and how to use it to access different AWS services from your different AWS account. Okay, so I will log into my AWS account. Okay, so before I start, I'd like to give some basic idea. So in AWS IAM we have two very important things. Okay, so one is user. So user is basically someone as kind of physical user who will be using that to access your AWS account. Okay, and second one is your IAM roles. Okay, so IAM roles are basically for your AWS services, right? So in behalf of your AWS service, if someone wants to do something, right, then that is where the IAM role comes into the picture, right? So in IAM role also we have something very interesting which is known as trust relationship. Okay, so in this video we'll understand how to make use of that, right? So in normal scenario I'll give you an example. So in my previous project which I was working, so we have a Redshift account in a separate account, AWS account, and whatever the execution script or Python script that you are using, that is present in a separate account, right? So currently the scenario is like we have two separate accounts, right? So in one account we have our EC2 or glue jobs, whatever we are using, that is present. In another account we have our Redshift cluster. Okay, so if I show you one example, suppose this is my AWS Redshift cluster. Okay, so if I go here, okay, to my cluster, and if I go to configuration, say safety and encryption, security and encryption, here I can see the IAM role, right? So here if you see, this is the IAM role which is associated with my Redshift account, right? Suppose I create one glue job, right? Let's say this glue job that I'll be writing, right? Let's say I've taken a sample glue job to write data from S3 to Redshift. Okay, this glue job is present in a separate account. Okay, so this glue job, okay, obviously it will have a IAM role associated to it, right? So currently let's say it doesn't have a IAM role. So I'll do, I can create IAM role associate. Let's do that. Okay, so here I'll go to roles, right? I'll click on create role. So for service I'll click glue. Okay, then next. So here let's say I want to use Redshift, right? So obviously I'll give my Redshift full access, right? Role name, glue, role. I'm giving it as a role, so I am creating this. Okay? Now this glue rule, okay, now let's refresh this. Okay, now if you see this glue role, I can attach to my AWS glue. Okay, so this job which I am creating, right, I can attach that glue role to this job. Okay, so let's say this glue job writes data to our Redshift cluster. Okay, and this cluster is present in a separate account. Okay, so what kind of configuration I need to make so that the glue job which is present in a separate account, for example this one, see currently I don't have two separate accounts, so I am showing it here as a single account, but you can consider that, right? So this is my glue job which is present in a separate account. Let's say this is my Redshift which is present in a separate account, right? Now I already have created the glue job, right? So and the glue job which I create in the glue role, I have already given permission to Redshift. So one more thing to note it, I just created for demo purpose. So whatever the services that you have to use, right? So for example, I am writing data from S3 to Redshift. So in the glue role, right? So here if you say I only gave Redshift, that will not work. Okay, you have to give access to S3 as well. Okay, so you make sure to do that. Okay, this is for demo purpose, so I am not added, but you have to make sure that you have all the necessary permission attached, so that it can assume it can take that role and execute on behalf of that role, right? So okay, so this is my glue role. Okay, now what I need to do, take this glue role, right? So basically this ARN of this glue role, right? So you have to make the ARN of a glue role into a separate right? So this one. Okay, so this is okay, I'm not copied it properly, I have copied. Okay, so this is the glue role which is associated with this account, and okay, this is the glue role basically, right? So if I go to my Redshift, now what I need to do, so this IAM role, okay, I have opened that IAM role. So this is the IAM role which is associated with the AWS Redshift. Okay, now in this IAM role, if I go to trust relationship, okay, so this is by default some trust relationship, but I'll show you. So this is the trust relationship you have to basically use. Okay, so you have to edit the trust policy here. Now you have to give, this is the trust relationship. Okay, so who can access this trust relationship? Obviously my glue job. Okay, now this part is actually what I copied from the, what is the IAM role. Okay, so here the ARN. Okay, so the ARN of the IAM role you have to give it here, just like this. Okay, now if you see, it has the IAM role, account ID, role and glue role. Now if I update this policy, what happens now, the glue role, right, this one now has the access, it can take this role, as a trust relationship, you can take this role and execute whatever necessary task it wants to, right? So this glue job is present in a separate account, this IAM role is present in a separate account, right? But we have given the glue job a trust relationship access to the Redshift role. Okay, so in this way you will be able to add trust relationship to your IAM role, right, which will help you to access different services from different AWS account, right? So along with that IAM role trust relationship, also I'll show you one more thing you can do, right? Along with AWS service, you can also able to add separate account, right? So this one is specifically used, suppose if you have a Snowflake account, right? So from AWS S3 you want to load some data to Snowflake, right? So basically what you can do, so this kind of role which is basically not from AWS service, a role which is from different account, right, that you can use. So if you see, there are different account you can use, right? So here you can use that kind of thing to basically give access to separate entity itself, not from AWS account but from a separate entity, right? So I'll make a separate video on this, right, so if required, but for this video I think this is good enough. I hope you got a basic understanding of how to use trust relationship. So thank you.